Okay. My name is Laurie Bosehart.
And Laurie, can you say a little bit about how we met? Because it's quite a fun story. So I'd like you, in your own words, because I think I've told it before, can you tell me how we first came into contact with each other, please?
Well, gosh, when I think back to that whole episode of trying to work out who, I guess it started actually when I was invited to take part in the Barclays round Britain voyage. And I went to the first meeting. The first thing that they said is that we need to individually select a buddy that will actually sort of partner with us on the voyage. And the first thing that they said is they said you can choose for yourself who you would like to buddy, or we'll find somebody for you. And I thought I preferred the challenge of actually finding my buddy. But I then didn't know even where to start. And I also didn't even know what charity I wanted to support. And then I started to think about it, and it made sense to talk to somebody from Parkinson today because of the support that we had had through Parkinson's nurses for my but again, you don't want to just ring up on the phone and say, look, I'm looking for somebody that will go sailing with me, because I couldn't even describe that I was going sailing. Which then took me to Twitter, and it was through looking on Twitter and finding people, just blogs, or not blogs, but tweets on Parkinson's disease. I came upon your Twitter account, and the fact that you had just recently published your book, Dropping the P-Bomb, which followed the first year after your diagnosis. And I think, again, that was actually when I sent you that message saying, I don't suppose you would mind having a quick word with me. I've got this idea that I'd like to share with you. And then you very kindly came back and said, let's private message, which we did. And we got on the phone, and I tried to explain what I was trying to do, but I didn't really have enough detail to tell you exactly how it was going to work. All I knew is that we were going to go sailing. And I think when I explained, my story, and I heard a little bit more about your story, and when then you said that famous word, yes, I think we actually sort of immediately became lifelong friends as a result of it. But and I have to say, thank you so much for saying yes, because I think it's most certainly changed my life. Getting a chance to get to know you. But I think actually, in a way, we probably have changed each other's life a little bit.
Yeah.
With a very simple 4-day voyage along the English Channel with a great group of people.
You say very simple, but
I know.
it's bonkers when you think about it.
You have to. We did have some fun along the way.
We did, namely you trying to get in your bunk at night.
It never ever struck me looking at those bunks. When we went on and visited the first time, that I would, for one reason or another, have a top bunk. So I have never ever climbed into a set of bunk beds before. And the worst part was, I got up in there eventually, but then I didn't think about how I was going to get out of it. Too fun.
We were two giggly school kids in the night, weren't we? It was ridiculous. Snorting like pigs.
That first night when we got the giggles and we were trying to be quiet, and I just couldn't be quiet.
I still get a bit giggly. I get that rise of
that brings
giggles
back
inside
lots
me.
and lots of really happy fun.
I can feel it.
The snorting. It was the snorting that was worse.
Let's not go again. Let's try not to go again. No. Okay, we can control it.
Yeah. I hope I'm going to be really good about that. But it's those memories that kind of come sweeping back. And I think, from those early conversations about what we were going to do, suddenly we were doing it, but we were sort of learning and making it up as we were going along, and in the process becoming, really quite close and good friends, and as I've said time and time again, I was going through kind of a difficult time trying to get used to not taking care of somebody. So it was very easy for me to want to take care of you because you're so lovely.
No.
And I kept thinking to myself throughout that entire voyage how lucky I was to have you on board with us, but that you'd said yes. I still, and to this day, I still think exactly.
Thank you so much for asking me. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever done, so I'm very grateful to you for asking me. Because I remember you said to me, was there anyone I knew that would want to do it? And I was like, no, screw that, it's mine, I want it.
I think that was such a shock to me because I just didn't know how to even present it to you. I thought, maybe she'll be, maybe she'll help me find a link or something. But it was when he said, "No, I'm going to do it." I was like, oh, absolutely. It was like you were just sort of just on board immediately, and I think that's what made it so much fun, making all of those plans and arrangements, and I think it also helped me bring it alive to my team, who, as you know, were tremendous fundraisers, to make sure that we were able to take part in the voyage. But not only that, they sort of embraced actually raising funds for Parkinson as well. And to that, I take my hat off. But it was helpful for them to see and understand how important it was for me, but also how important it was for you. Mm-hmm. And again, this raising awareness of Parkinson's, my team stepped up to the plate, hands down. Yeah. Amazing stuff.
They did so well. You were probably the happiest person on the ship, and everyone I spoke to just always said how happy you always were. And I interviewed Daniel the other day, and he said that one of the things he expected to happen during the voyage that didn't happen was that you'd crack at some point and just start swearing or kind of get grumpy at something. Or how do you stay so calm?
Yeah, it's a funny thing. I don't see myself that way. Sometimes I think my daughters would disagree with me. They'd say, "Oh, she gets pretty aggy." They call it being aggy. Oh, she's pretty aggy. I think probably sometimes when you have this moment and you think to yourself, "Oh, I'm getting a little bit on edge," sometimes the best thing you can do is kind of just take yourself away a little bit, have a little chat with yourself, and take a couple deep breaths and go, "You know what? Well, 5 minutes from now, I'm going to forget whatever actually was having me or getting me up in stitches or whatever happens." It's just I can't see any reason to get upset most of the time.
I totally agree. I think that's why we get on. I think a little bit. One of the reasons we get on is that we're both sort of the mind that it's pointless getting het up about something that you're only going to, forget about pretty soon after.
Yeah, because sometimes it's so easy to get yourself all twisted up in knots, and then when you're through it, you think to yourself, "Well, why on earth did I let that get me so upset that I'm twisted up in knots?" Because in the end, getting upset isn't going to make it any better. Exactly. If anything, it ends up making it worse. So write it out, take a couple deep breaths, and then just move on.
Totally agree. What was your favourite moment on the ship?
My favourite moment. Well, I have to say it was actually that first night trying to get out of the bunk bed and kicking my legs out to find you standing there watching me trying to get out of the bunk bed. But I think my favorite moment, gosh, there's so many. I'll tell you a couple of them. It was that moment when we got you all harnessed up and you climbed the mast and you were coming back down. And I just remember you didn't really want to have the assisted climb. I think you would have loved to have just been able to do it, on your own, but you did do it on your own. And I think that was the thing is, even though there was the extra cable, you did that on your own. And to see you come back down, knowing that was just something that we talked about, because we both said we wanted to do it, and to see you actually do it, even now it kind of makes me a bit tearful to think about, because we did one of the things we both very much wanted to do, and we did it. Yeah. And I think the other time was actually it was when we were sailing up the Thames, and we were all just kind of having that sort of I guess that euphoria of we've done it. We've sailed up the English Channel, we've sailed through the shipping channel at Dover, we've dropped anchor outside of Southend, but we were sailing up the Thames, past the Thames barrier, and it was like a perfect moment. We were all crew. We all knew each other. We were laughing. We were enjoying each other's company. You can't bottle that. As much as I'd love to say we could go back and experience that again, we can't. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of hold that really as a very precious memory. We were really we were a team. We were a really great group of people who got on amazing.
That's so lovely. That's so true as well. My mum was saying the other day, actually, that when she came to collect me, it was like we all had this look on our face of no one would ever understand what we'd been through together.
And I think it was also, did you feel that reluctance to leave the boat?
Yeah. I was a bit scared for a few days afterwards. I was like, where are all these buildings and stuff? Who are all these people that weren't with us?
I think we all had a little bit bit of withdrawal. In fact, even Christian Hitchcock and I we were talking kind of by messages, and we were both feeling like this sort of sense of almost like our family had gone home after Christmas. You know that feeling where you kind of go, gosh, if the house is a bit empty, I'm missing everybody. You know, I'd like to hear that person up say, time to get up, that kind of anything like that, or time to clean the ship. I would have done it quite gladly because I missed that environment, and most certainly leaving the boat was very hard to do. Even though we were all exhausted, it was really hard to do.
When I spoke to Daniel, he said the moment that they turned the camera off was really hard for them. The moment they decided to stop filming because it meant it was over.
Yeah, it's funny. I can imagine that because there was a reason why they were there, and I'm sure Danny was always looking for opportunities to capture something that he might use as a nugget, in that whole story that he was going to tell. And I can imagine that at that point in time, it was saying, "Okay, we've done all that we can because we're home now."
Yeah.
And yet, when then when he came out and started to talk to all of us afterwards. It felt so good to see him. Oh my gosh. It was just like my old friend had come back. You must feel the same.
Yeah. I think I feel such a strong connection to everyone that was on that boat. I mean, mostly you and kind of the two boys who were filming, because I think we spent so much time together. But everyone on the boat is always going to be someone I feel like I call a friend, and more than a friend, it's like family. It's kind of feels ridiculous saying that, but it feels like family, and you guys especially feel like family.
Oh, and I've said this, I think, to everybody I've ever spoken to. To me, you're like my girls. I just adore you, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for you.
No.
And that I do really genuinely mean that. I think you're a very special person, and I think I was just destined to meet you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It just feels so good, knowing you, and watching, what's happening in your life, because your life is very exciting now. You've got lots of things going on, and you're not letting the challenges get you down either. But you're doing the one thing that you learned from the voyage is let people know how you're feeling, because that helps them even more.
Yeah, it's true. I think, if I'm trying to kind of sort of be honest about the situation I'm in, and hopefully that will help people as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So was there anything you learnt on the boat about kind of disability, about yourself, about me, about any of the other crew members that really surprised you, that you didn't expect to learn?
Well, I saw a couple of things that actually really struck in my mind. I think I didn't know all of my colleagues who were on board the boat, and some of them, I'd met, in passing. Abby is an example of that. I worked with Abby briefly, but not directly, in similar teams and so forth. But so many I had never met, and for that I'm grateful that I know all of them and feel quite comfortable and enjoy their company. But what I did see was actually a lot of leadership. Leadership from people who probably have roles where they're not really given a lot of opportunity to lead. And yet they were self-leaders on board that boat, which is great. I think experience-wise, I think probably when I think back about the things that we had to do, I had favorite things that I enjoyed doing on board the boat. I very much sort of enjoyed helping with sort of the galley stuff and kind of going in there and helping with the cleaning, doing the washing up, which was very fun. But there's just so many experiences from that boat. It's hard to kind of just pick one or two. What I did learn about myself, though, is that I'm capable of far more than I sometimes give myself the credit for. I quite easily say no sometimes to things without trying them. And I did learn that actually I need to say yes to more things, which I'm doing. We all know.
Amazing.
I'm now officially an amateur adventurer. At least that's what I call myself. But I learned actually that I'm capable of far more than I give myself credit for, whether that be physical challenges or that challenges in terms of learning new skills, stepping outside my comfort zone, because I'd been living in my comfort zone for so many years. Really a little bit afraid to actually step outside it, because I was always worried I was going to drop other things that I was responsible for. But actually, in fact, what I've learned is the stuff I'm responsible for benefits when I step outside of my comfort zone, because I bring new things to the plate, to the table when I do so. And as you know, I've been climbing in the Himalayas.
Yeah.
Since then, and that kind of came about because at last I realized I could physically do more than I was giving myself credit for.
You were amazing on the boat. You were like up that mast like a rapid drain pipe. I've never seen someone. You took to it so quickly, and you were up there helping with unfurling the whatever they're called and all sorts of things. I don't even know what they're called. I can't even do it.
It was called, I think, harbor stoning the sails. I loved that. That was so good. But I also kind of learned something in doing that as well, because I thought that it took a lot of time and energy. It took a lot of energy to do it. But that second time that I went up, and I wanted to go up to the very top, harbor stoning the next sail up, and I realized that I couldn't get up there because the combination of mine was just losing all of my energy. And I actually did something which I didn't think I could do. I said, I can't do this. And I realized if I continued to try, I might jeopardize everybody getting to do it. And that personal sense of I've got to accomplish this,
yeah.
I realized that saying I've reached my limit was what I needed to learn.
That's quite funny, because that's one of the things I learnt on the boat as well, was actually before then I'd kind of sort of said, I can do everything, it's not a problem, and it's only when you're put in a situation like that you realise what you can't do, and that you have to say that you can't do it, Normally in my day-to-day life, most of the things that I can't do are things that I can do if I have a little bit more time to do them.
Yes.
Whereas on that boat, there were certain things that I just couldn't physically do, it would have been dangerous to try, and I think it was the first time I've been told I can't do things, or been told by myself that I can't do things, and that was kind of difficult at first, but actually really important for me coming to terms with what I've got.
Well, it kind of comes up to understanding your personal limits, and actually that I did learn on that boat, and that climbing the second to Harborstone, the second sail up on that second day, was how I learned that lesson. But I applied that when I went to the Himalayas, when I went on that trek recently, is that I was pushing myself. I was the oldest person on the trek. I was pushing myself to keep up with everybody, but in reality, I didn't need to keep up with everyone. I just kept thinking I needed to.
Yeah.
And in pushing myself, I was going to make myself sick. And so there was a point, we got to the first campground, and the next morning I was having some problems with oxygen in my blood. And I said, I've done exactly what I wanted to do. I've trekked to the Himalayas, but I didn't want to jeopardize the rest of the group's ability to go to the next camp. And so I basically said, okay, I think I've reached my limit, and I felt comfortable with it. And that was amazing, because I probably would have otherwise pushed myself, made myself sick, and then caused a problem for everyone. So, and I was very satisfied with what I did. And I was thrilled to bits.
You should be. You did fantastically well. You've done some really, just, kind of how I've seen you change as well. You said you've seen me change and grow and things. Kind of seen you change since it has been amazing as well. Just your confidence and stuff.
Thank you, Emma. And thank you for saying that, actually, because I think I had no idea going into that voyage. I thought it was going to be, we're going to go sailing, yay! We're going to get a chance to climb the mast, yay! And all those conversations we've had, and it was like, what are we going to get out of this? And everyone kept asking. It's like, well, I'm going to do something really fun with somebody I've just met who I think is really lots of fun. What I didn't expect was how much I would take away with it that I'd apply to my life. And, my life with the girls, and my career, and the quality of people that I want to spend time with. It's just had a profound effect on that. And I thank you, because I think you've been part of that.
Thank you. You've been a massive part of my change as well. So we have each other to be grateful to, I think.
Well, wait till I get my sparkly dress on, too.
I'll have to give you the one back.
I'm going to start wearing sparkles, too.
You should do, definitely. It's the way forward. Thank you so much, Laurie. I really appreciate you answering my questions.
Well, you're welcome. And Pam, and thank you so much, for lots of things, but without question, when that crazy lady contacted you and she said, I don't suppose you'd like to go sailing with me. I don't even know what we're going sailing on. I just know it's a tall ship. Thank you for saying yes, because that yes has changed my life.
Well, thank you for giving me something comedy to say at like every talk I do, because it gets a good laugh when I say a woman contacted me on Twitter and asked me to go on a ship with her. So thank you for the easy gag.
Yeah. And oh gosh, that could be changed into all sorts of things.
Exactly. I always maintained that you worked for Barclays, so I felt safe.
Yeah, Sir Randolph Fiennes has a very famous